So last week was Body Confidence Week and I successfully managed to miss all of it because I was so busy with uni work and exams, studying, essay hand-in dates and all that stuff. So I missed out on contributing anything to it, and I was kind of disappointed because I thought, oh, that would have been something that I would really have liked to make a video on or do a blog post on. So I thought better late than never, and I thought that I would film it this week when I've got a little break from uni. So body image is obviously a very complicated and very personal thing, and everyone feels differently about it. But obviously through the media we can see that there are a lot of very specific ideas about what body image is and what your body should look like or should look like, being fed to us on a pretty much daily basis. So body image is something that we're hearing people talk about on a daily basis, and it can't help but kind of seep into your consciousness. No matter how positive or confident a person you are, you can't help but notice that ideas of what our bodies should look like and what the perfect body is, and what is beautiful, are being fed to us through people who really shouldn't matter to us, but unfortunately the society that we live in, we can't help but sit up and take notice. I think one of the first things to really think about in terms of the idea of the perfect body and that sort of very weirdly constructed idea of what beauty is and what is beautiful, as cliched as it is to say beauty is in the eye of the beholder, that very old saying, it is absolutely true, and we can look at that in something as simple as sitting debating with your friends who your celebrity crushes are. Because you will find, I find on a very regular basis that I'll say to one of my friends like, oh, I think he's really hot, and they'll be like, who? Really? Him? And vice versa, they'll be sitting maybe talking about someone that they fancy and I think, never really saw that before. Personal taste and our kind of conception of what beauty is are really inextricably linked. So this idea that there is one beautiful, perfect body type is completely and utterly false. But no matter how much we tell ourselves that, it's still something that people struggle with every single day. So I thought that I would give a couple of pointers. I'm not an expert by any stretch of the imagination, and these are very general points if you're just feeling a little bit down. This isn't something to solve a real kind of genuine body confidence crisis. But if you're having a day where you're feeling a bit rubbish, these are just a couple of things that have been, this is nothing new, they've been talked about before, but just a couple of things that I think always work for me. Point number one. This one feels kind of weird to start with because if you're anything like me, you are quite self-deprecating and not very big on bigging yourself up. I think we are kind of raised, or a lot of us are raised in this sort of society where it's not really seen as okay to talk about how good looking you are. And so we all kind of tend to focus on the negatives. It's a lot more normal, or sort of seen as normal, to talk about the things you don't like about yourself. So to walk into a room and say like, oh, your hair's so lovely and oh, my hair's just such a mess, that's seen as so much more normal than walking in somewhere and being like, how good does my hair look today? Because people, it's silly, but people, we all have that sort of self-conscious thing of like, oh, I don't want to sound like I think I'm attractive. That, God, like what would happen then? But I think one of the really good things to try to do is pick out one or two things about yourself, and not that you are funny or that you're a nice person. Pick out a couple of physical things about yourself that you like and fixate on them. And I don't mean fixate on them in terms of give yourself an ego problem, but really pay attention to them. So for me, I like my eyes, I've always liked my eyes. And so if I was having a day where I'm sort of like, oh, I feel a bit rubbish, I will sit and think about my eyes. How sad. And it sounds really weird, and it is really hard to do to begin with if you're not someone who's used to thinking or viewing yourself in a particularly positive way. But have a think about it, and I'm sure that you'll come up with one or two things about yourself that you actually quite like. So if you've got quite nice legs and you are aware of that but you don't usually really give it too much thought, sit and have a think and be like, do you know what, I actually have really nice legs and I'm going to wear shorts more often to show them off. And just think about it, and it'll give you that little confidence boost that you might be looking for. As weird as it feels to begin with, to actually start trying to see your body in a positive way, try to do it, because it really does make such a difference, and it's going to serve you so much better than sitting thinking, oh, I hate my stomach, or oh, I hate my arms, or oh, I hate my hair, whatever it is. Don't think about that. Put that on the back burner, and think about the things that you do like about your body, because as much as though you'll try and tell yourself they're not there, they are there. So try and have a think about them. Point number 2. Again, this is quite a common one, but wear something that you really, really, really love. Even if it's not particularly appropriate for the timing, like if you're just sitting in the house and watching some TV and feeling a bit rubbish and thinking, oh, I've had a really bad day, I've put on some weight over Christmas, who hasn't? My skin's really bad at the moment, and I look awful. And you've got a dress that you really like, or a pair of jeans that sit really nicely on you, or a pair of ridiculously expensive shoes that you never get the opportunity to wear. Just put them on, even if you're just sitting around the house. This is why I put a full face of makeup on every day of life, because it makes me feel good. It makes me feel confident. I like to do it. I enjoy the process of putting my makeup on. And I'm not doing it for anyone else. If I'm sitting in the house all day, it's clearly not because I'm looking to impress anyone. It is purely because I enjoy the process and I like how it makes me feel. So if you've got a pair of skyscraper stilettos that you never wear anywhere, put them on even if you're just in the house, because it will give you that little confidence boost of thinking, do you know what? These shoes look really good on me. So that's the kind of thing. It's a really obvious one, but wear something that is really flattering on you, that you know that you like and you know that you feel good in, and it'll give you that little pick-me-up. The third thing that I wanted to talk about is less of a tip and more of a just kind of thought process that I've been thinking about quite a lot recently, because there's been quite a lot, well not a lot, but a bit of attention given to that Brad Pitt, or apparently Brad Pitt letter about Angelina Jolie. And Lena from Just Kiss My Frog did a brilliant video on that the other day, which I will link in the description box down below, so you can go and check that out. But basically it was about this idea that Angelina Jolie was feeling really bad about herself. She was really quite depressed. She was going through a hard time. And Brad Pitt decided to just bestow everything, all these gifts on her, and talk only about her and do all this stuff for her and tell her she was beautiful. And suddenly, because he was giving her all this attention, she blossomed and was wonderful again, and the depression magically disappeared. And it really, I mean, a lot of people were posting it on Facebook and being like, oh, this is so lovely and romantic, and I'm like, what? It's not lovely and romantic at all. It's a terrible, terrible representation of how women should feel about their bodies and how they should go about solving body image issues. Please don't ever build your body image around how someone else sees you, because that's just never going to be a good long-term plan. Depressing as this sounds, while someone can give you confidence boosts and someone can, guys, I'm not saying if you're a boy watching this video, I'm not saying for a minute that girls don't like to hear that they're pretty, but if you build your self-esteem and the way that you view your body and how confident you feel about it around how someone else sees you, what happens if that person isn't there anymore? What happens if you guys break up? I mean, if it's a boyfriend or a girlfriend that you are sort of building your confidence around, if you guys break up, even the most perfect seeming relationships can end. And if that relationship ends, where does that leave your relationship with your body and your body image? We only get one shot at life and we only get one body, and really, if we actually stop to think about it, it's a real privilege. The actual process of this is kind of amazing, and life is shorter than I think we would like to think that it is, and so if we waste so much time focused on hating what our body looks like, there's so much better, more productive, more positive things that we could be doing with our time. And I'm not going to pretend that it's the easiest thing in the world, because it's not, because all we are faced with on a daily basis is fashion campaigns with the skinniest models in the world and celebrities who are a size 0 being praised as the most beautiful creatures on earth. Okay, so the lighting has gone kind of weird. But my final point really was just to say, try and be appreciative of your body, because it's the only one that you're ever going to get. We only get one shot at life, and so trying to be kind of respectful of this body that we've got is quite important, and treat it with some respect and be nice to it, both mentally in the way that you think about it and physically the way that you treat it. I need to think a little bit more about this in 2014 because I do not do enough exercise and I eat a lot of rubbish and I don't eat enough fruit and vegetables. So, you know, do things like drink some more water and go for a nice walk and all those kind of things to just really, you know, show your body that you appreciate it. And try not to let those negative thoughts take over because it's so easily done. So be confident about your body and tell yourself that you look good. Look at old photos that you like, because I'm sure that there are some. Dig them out and sit and have a look at them and appreciate that you look pretty good in them, and tell yourself that. And do it for you, don't do it for anyone else. It has to be for you. And once you start to kind of see yourself and your body in a more confident, positive light, other people are going to start to see it too, because that confidence is going to shine through. So as everything in this life does, it's got to start with you. Take 2014 as an opportunity to see yourself in a different light and view your body in a much more positive and nice way. In that way that people say, think about the way that you speak to yourself and imagine, would you ever speak to a friend like that? If you are talking in a highly negative way to your body, imagine that you and your body are a friend. Would you speak to them like that? Probably not. So yeah, that is my little input to Body Confidence Week, a couple of weeks late. I hope that you've enjoyed that, and I would love to hear some of you guys' tips on picking yourself up if you're having a down day. So if you want to leave comments in the comment section below, letting me know what some of your thoughts and tips are, that would be great. So thanks very much for watching, guys, and I will speak to you again soon. Bye! This is the Baby Skin Instant Pore Eraser Primer. Oh, this is good. This is very, very good.